picture, curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey everybody, it's Goose coming to you live from the Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with currentcast.com with On With The Show, where we talk about movies, TV, and some local theater. And I had the great opportunity the other night to, Monday night, was invited to the Maya Theater to see a special screening of a film called Lost Souls. Now, Lost Souls is an independent film, and it's been... I can see written and written and directed, or written and produced by one of my good friends, Bobby Cloud, and one of his friends. And I like it when local. How do I say this? First of all, I think we need more of the entertainment industry here in Kern County. I mean, we've been here for quite a long time. We've been here. Matter of fact, I mean, let me tell you, they've shot a lot of famous movies here in Kern County. I think we need to bring them back. We need to bring these entertainment dollars back to Kern County. And I know my good friend Ricky Bird Jr., he's been begging people to the community, the filmmaking community, behind filmmaking here in Kern County. I think it's something that would love to be done. And before I go into my take of the film, we'll show a video. I'm not going to show it quite yet, but I'm going to tell you that I think we need to just embrace filmmaking here in Bakersfield and Kern County. We're just over the hill, just over the grapevine from Los Angeles, where it's a huge industry, and I think that it would behoove our LA friends to come down here and know that they can make films here, that they can, and they have people here locally that will help them make films here. One of the things that was always amazing when I went to school, I got my graduate degree at Mount St. Mary's University, and they were when they would all say, "Where are you from?" And I'd say, "I'm from Bakersfield," and they would look at me like, "You're from Bakersfield? You came all this way?" And I'm like, it's not that far of a drive. The only thing that'll kill you is the car climbing over the car trying to climb over the grapevine, and but it's a beautiful drive. It's very peaceful, and they would be amazed at my commitment to coming all this way. It's about 110 miles from where I had to go. But I would explain to them, and I said, it's a beautiful 92-minute drive, 2 hours. And I said, in some places in LA, that'd be like coming from Pasadena to Hollywood, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're right." It would be like, but I think we need to kind of get these people to come down here, and we need more filmmakers here in Kern County, here in Bakersfield, so that we're not the little redheaded stepchild of Hollywood in Los Angeles. We got a lot of great talent here as far as actors and directors and producers. We need to get them, and we need to embrace our our filmmaking repertoire here in Kern County. Now that I've beaten that down to a dead horse, I'm going to talk about Lost Souls. Tyler, run that video really quick, and then let's show them what my good friend Kelly Gladden was the one who interviewed these people while I held the camera, and we did a remark. It was great, being there as far as a team of Kerncast to look at this film. So all I got is Tyler's over there. He's itching to press that button to show the video. So Tyler, go ahead and show that video.
So what did you think of the movie?
I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud. I know how much work they put into it. I'm very proud of them.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Did you guys like the movie?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Okay. We're talking with the makeup artist.
No. Well, yeah, I did. I love the movie.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It was good all the way. The ending, it had a good ending.
What do you think of the movie?
Oh, I enjoyed it immensely. I mean, it was suspenseful.
See? It's TJ. What's up?
Man, what a great.
What brings you to the movie on a Monday night?
Well, I couldn't miss the sneak preview of this Lost Souls movie.
Private screening of Lost Souls was fabulous.
Private screening. But the thing is I never saw that coming. Like it freaking twisted. It was so twisted. It was crazy, man.
And that was just some of the people who saw the movie, and it was a great film. It was a great film. It was really good, and the ending was really, really twisted. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about the film specifically. It's based on a true story about a family who believed that their daughter was possessed or their child was possessed, and they brought in a priest to exorcise the demon from her. And first of all, here, let me just tell you something. I couldn't, the very life of me, I couldn't tell what type of movie this was. I didn't know if this was a faith-based film, because they do talk a lot about God and faith, and but I also couldn't tell if this was a horror film. And there were certain things, the dynamics that made it look like a horror film. But there were certain dynamics that made it look like a faith-based film. And I finally had to realize after a lot of analysis, it's basically both. Which is kind of an interesting little mix, because you don't see horror mixed in with, I think the last time they tried that was a movie called The Exorcist. We all know how that ended. It was ever. But this film, there is some great tension and there's a great, great twist. Now, let me tell you something. Now, first, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I think, I won't say bad, but some things that, as a filmmaker, I think need to be worked on. There were some focus issues in the beginning of the film. There were some sound issues concerning the dialogue with the film that didn't quite match up with the lips. And there was a file missing, obviously, at one point. Those are things that can be fixed. You can take those things back to post, and you can fix those. Some of the editing was a little rough. I think to just take it back to post. It can be kind of smoothed out, take all the rough edges, and that can be really, really, really well done. As we're over there, smooth out the rough edges. But the other thing is what I really want to see is I want to see more of the point of view from the little girl. Show me what she sees. And I think that will really, really add to the tension of what's going on with the whole dynamic between the priest and the exorcism and the family, and and now let me tell you what I liked. I liked the fact this movie kept me guessing. And I like that in a film, because you don't, as a film viewer, you don't want to be sitting there, you don't want to be 5 steps ahead of everybody else in the film, that what's happening. Because it gives when that happens, it's kind of like, it becomes boring, it becomes a cliche, and you'd be like, but this movie didn't do that. This movie kept me guessing, because there were times where I had no idea what was going on. And I think that's a good thing for film, because if you don't know what's going on, you kind of sit there and you want to be, it engages you more. You want to be more kind of like, what's going on? I want to know what's going on. And that's a good thing. This movie also has very serious bones. What I mean is, this is a really good story. This story is very, very solid, and I think that based on that, it can only go up. Again, take it back to post, and things can kind of get polished up and really, really well done. I really, really commend my friend Bobby Cloud and his team for putting this movie together. And what's funny is, Bobby initially, you've seen him on Curtain with Kelly, and I used to do a little radio show with him where he's a lawyer. He talks family law, and it's kind of interesting to see that dynamic now in a film. I really want to get him on the show, and I want to ask him what made him decide to move from law to filmmaking, because and I know a lot of people say that there's a lot of drama in the courtroom, and as the cliche go, there's drama in the courtroom. But I know of other people. I know a friend of mine who is a practicing doctor, who is now looking to evolve into becoming a filmmaker. That is an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting change. You don't see these professionals moving away from where they've been to going into a different type of industry. But those are the great things that I think can only go up from this movie can only go up. There's no way, it's got good bones, it's got a great story, you've got great actors. That little girl was fantastic. I mean, I don't know where you found her, but you need to get her number because you're going to use her again. Lost Souls looks like it'll be a really good film. I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product when everything's kind of hammered out and polished over and looking really well. But again, just take it back to post. Just fix a few of the rough edges, and it'll be, I think, one of these great independent films that you'll find on streaming sites like Netflix and Hulu. And who knows, maybe you'll even see it back at the Maya as an independent film, and it'd be something that we could really, really watch on the big screen again. It looks like I'm coming up close to a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about one movie that opened this weekend, one movie opened last weekend, and a movie that was released back in 2003 that I saw for the first time. Back right with you. Again, this is Goose Scott at the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with CurtainCast.com and Blue Sky Media. Back right after these messages.
Patriot Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
I choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
If the best criminal attorneys choose Patriot Bail Bonds, who would you choose?
Patriot Bail Bonds. We fight for your freedom.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license is not going to suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
Hey everybody, we're back. We having fun yet? I know I am. This is Goose Scott on with the show. Again, here with CurtainCast.com and Blue Sky Media. I want to thank my sponsor, Patriot Bail Bonds. I've never personally had to use them, thank God. But I'm going to tell you something. If you really want some really really classy people to work with to really help you out with the bail bonds bails process, they're really great. They're great people to work with. Give them a call if you're in services of bail bondsmen. Anyway, moving right along. The movie that opened this weekend is Melissa McCarthy's new film called Life of the Party. And this is an interesting film. I remember watching years and years ago this concept of someone going back to school. Rodney Dangerfield did it. Interesting enough, in a film called Back to School. And he was a millionaire that, basically decided for whatever reason, to go back to college and get his degree. In this film, Melissa McCarthy plays a wife that is suddenly thrown for a loop. When her husband says he wants a divorce, and her daughter's already at school. She missed getting her degree the first time around because she was pregnant with her daughter, and decides that she's going to finish the last year of college, by going back to school. Now it becomes an interesting dynamic with the daughter and the mom. Going to school and they run into each other, and even in some, and the mom makes friends with the daughter, and it becomes interesting. Becomes an interesting dynamic, but what was that it was going to be too goofy. And the problem with that is it was actually really touching. It was very, very, even with the goofiness, because the mom is like, she's not like the mom that is like, that, licks her finger and like, I've seen those kind of moms even with their adult kids. This was a mom that was like, not only was she really, really happy to be there, getting her degree, but she was happy, to be with her daughters, and even respected enough to where she knew that, this isn't right. I shouldn't really, you girls need your time. I'm just, being this old. And the girls basically surround, and this became a great empowering, if I'm getting the right word, empowering. Some words I cannot say, but that's okay. Or they come out real goofy. But this became a really good film. I almost want to call it a feminist film, because it really, it was really good. It was really, really well done. I'm not the kind of reviewer that gives away the entire plot. I would prefer that you go see the film, which I do recommend you see this film. It's very good. It's very funny. It's very touching. There are a few cliched things here, because you do have the wimpy husband, or the wimpy ex-husband that now is engaged to this domineering woman and all this other stuff, and it can be quite cruel, some of the things that happen. But there was a line in there where basically it talks about that she was basically having this midlife crisis of going back to school and getting her degree. Let me tell you something. I'm the guy that had a midlife crisis of going back to school and getting his degree. I'm living proof of it, okay? And I think that there are just some things that happen that are worth going through and worth doing. There are certain points in it where it was kind of like, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but it was, Melissa McCarthy's a very, very funny woman, and she plays this part really well, because you really feel for her. You really feel for what's going on in her life, and you get a sense that even though this is something that she really wants to do and needs to do, there are times where you feel like you're just as lost with her as she is. And she's around all these young people, and it kind of feels, even in some instances, where she feels out of place. But it's the people around her that help her embrace this, this newfound love. This movie's well written. It's well acted. Maya Rudolph is in this film. Debbie Ryan of Jessie fame. There's a Debbie Ryan sighting in this. There's a Christina Aguilera sighting in this film. It is very, very, very well done. I recommend you go see this. It's a very good, comedy to kind of take you away from all the Infinity War things that are going on, because everybody's seen that at least 2 or 3 times already. So go out and catch another film, and this is a really good film for you to go see and embrace this really, really good comedy. The next film that I saw was a film that I saw that actually I saw it today, but it opened last week. It's called Tully, and this is Charlize Theron's new film. And Diablo Cody and Sam Livingston and Mackenzie Davis also are in this film. And this is also, Diablo Cody seems to have an interesting knack for writing films about true life, and seems to do it in a way that they're not over the top and they're not overly dramatized. They're right where they need to be. And Charlize Theron plays a pregnant mom who gives birth to her 3rd child, and her husband he does this. I can't even explain to you what this guy does, because he rattled it off, and it sounded like something that was whatever, and it was anyway, and they have a special needs child, and it's just, you could kind of tell that here's a woman that is a homemaker. She does work in HR for a company, and she's on maternity leave, and you can kind of see all the things that are going on as she tries to be super parent with these two, with these three children. And it's just one of those films that it's so true to life that it almost kind of like takes you back about what's really going on with your life, or other people that you're with. And so Charlene Theron's she does a great job in this film, and it's actually very, very funny because I kind of had a film theory as I was watching this, because again, Diablo Cody is the writer of Tully, and she was the one that very famously wrote Juno, which had Ellen Page as the pregnant teenager that gives birth and gives the child up to adoption. And I almost thought for a minute that it was like, even though Tully, the Shirley Theron's character in the movie is named Marlowe, I almost thought that Juno was an adult version of Marlowe. And I thought there was an interesting jump in correlation and comparison there. Is that true? I don't know. But I do find it an interesting film theory that I've come up with. The acting in this movie is superb. It really brings into light some mental illness issues toward the end of the film. And you really begin to think that for all that's going on in this woman's life, God, how do I explain this? You could really see why and how someone can go over the edge than what happens. Again, I'm hoping I didn't give up too much of the film. It's well shot. It's well edited. And I think the reason why it's not getting as much buzz, even though I did see a lot of commercials for it a week before it opened, I think the reason it's not getting as much of a play is because it's done by Focus Features. It's technically an independent film. And so in a lot of independent films, they don't get as much play and as much buzz as they should. As my producer over there gives it look, yeah, they really don't. But this is a really good. And as a matter of fact, the only theater in town that's showing this is the Maya. So I encourage anybody out there looking for, again, a film other to see than Infinity War, to see this film, because it's really good. It's really well done. I go and see it again. So enough with that movie. I can't recommend it enough. The other film I saw this week, and this is actually pretty crazy, because I was going through the preview movie channels, and I happened to catch a film that I've never seen, but was highly recommended that I do, and it's the Farrelly Brothers film, Stuck on You. All right. Now, Stuck on You was released in 2003. It stars Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear as conjoined twins. And they're conjoined right next to me, right here. You probably can't see it, but like right near the waist, and they share a liver, which is the reason why they've never been separated. So, and the Farrelly brothers are very good. They did movies like Something About Mary. I believe they also did Shallow Hal. They do these kind of quirky films with interesting characters. And the reason why I like this film is because you have two guys, as far as twins goes, these guys are almost polar opposites. Matt Damon plays a guy who's a short order cook, while Greg Kinnear's character is an actor. And it's absolutely interesting because there's this great scene where Kinnear's on stage. He's doing a one-man show as Truman Capote, and he's walking around stage, and there's Matt Damon in a black suit, just scooting behind him where he needs to go, where he needs to play. And Damon is sweating profusely because he has anxiety. He doesn't like to be while his brother loves to be out in the public eye. You see a lot of their, a lot of stuff. They've played hockey, they played baseball, they played football. I want to ask my son, if you were to see conjoined twins standing on the mound, One can throw left, one that can throw right, and you're like, you don't know which way it's coming. It's almost like watching a double mint commercial. It's like it's absolutely crazy. But the Farrelly brothers do a great job of bringing in these interesting characters and putting them in these great, funny situations. And I highly recommend this film. If you have a chance to go get it on DVD, if you have a chance to go, find it on TV. It's a really good, touching film. They go through things that only conjoined twins can go through and it's kind of weird because, when one of them gets a girlfriend, he's not even able to really tell her, oh yes, I'm joined at the hip, literally joined at the hip with my brother. And, which causes some interesting confusion among in the relationship. And there's a catalyst there because there comes a time when they have to decide, do we stay together and stay like this, or do we finally go ahead and try and separate and see what happens? And I think that alone could be because they run the risk, and this is a great thing about the story, is they run the risk of, because they've always been together, so what will their life be like without the other one standing there next to them? See, for those of you in any type of relationship, what would your life be like without that partner next to you that's always been there? And so there's some interesting sight gags and some great fun and play. But this is a really good film. I had never seen it before. I'd always wanted to. When I finally had the opportunity, I sat down and devoted my time to it. And there are some times, and let me tell you something, as we're wrapping up, because it looks like I'm over for this segment. But I want you to understand something, because there are times where even with these premium TNT, USA, there's always these movies are on that are worth your time to sit down and watch. And I think that there are times where we don't need to go to the red box. We don't need to go to the theater. Let's stay at home. Let's stream some movies off the Netflix and the Hulu and the Amazon Prime and now YouTube Red, which, by the way, next week I'm going to review, because a lot of people have been talking to me about Cobra Kai, and which is the new Karate Kid show. And a lot of people have said it looks really good. It's really well done. And I wasn't sure about it. The reason, and trust me, I wasn't a big fan. I've talked to people who have watched YouTube Red, and they weren't big fans of it because they thought that the quality of the product wasn't really there. But yeah, my producer agrees. He's watched YouTube Red, and he's like, oh my God, this stuff sucks. But a lot of people have said that this particular show, Cobra Kai, might be the catalyst that brings YouTube Red into the streaming format, into the streaming competition. And they got a lot of competition to deal with. We get it with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all this other stuff. So they, with that, they really have to figure out how they're going to compete with these other entities. But I'm going to check that out this next week. I'm going to give you my report on it next week. Guess what movies opens next week, everybody? Deadpool 2. Guess who will be at the movie theater watching Deadpool 2? Yes, my producer is raising his hand. I think he's going to tie himself to the bumper of my car to make sure I bring him. What? Yeah, I think he's going to tie yourself to the bumper of my car to make sure I bring you. But Deadpool 2 opens up next week, as well as the book club. I'm going to check out both those movies next week. I will be back with you next week. Right now, I don't have a report on any openings for theater openings. That's my fault. I apologize to all the theaters in the area. But next week I'll be more on the ball. I believe that the One Act Festival at BCT is coming up. I think that's next week that they opened up the Bakersfield Community Theater One Act Festival, which has been their mainstay. It's been the one thing that they did really well all over these years. All right, Mr. Producer, let's get my outro ready. As I say, this is Goose Scott with On With The Show. from kerncast.com and the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame and Blue Sky Media. Go catch a show.
Overture, curtain lights, this is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part.